Okay guys, so our fuel pump came in. As you notice here, as you can see here, we got one here and there's another one there. So your fuel pump should be the one with the more wires, because that's, I don't know if you can see there's thicker wire here, the red and black, and the other two is just the fuel level, right? So I mentioned too, okay. I mentioned too that I forgot to mention that when you do fuel pump repair or any repair, make sure don't use your electric gun or anything, because electric gun can cause spark, and then you're dealing with the fuel, right? So just keep that in mind. So let me just remove these 6 screws here. It's holding this cover, and now we will see on what's inside here. And then after that, I'm gonna hook up our fuel pressure gauge, check our current reading on our gauge, and our amp probe, or our how much current that it's pulling, this fuel pump and this pattern. So we will see the difference between the old one and the new one, right? And we can learn from there how it looks like with a bad fuel pump, that it's not bad and it's still running. But yeah, so all 6 are removed. I'll just remove this grommet here. Okay, remove this guy, this connector. Okay, so I think this fuel pump is a little bit easier, which is a good thing, because this doesn't have a special tool to unlock or to release the lock ring for the fuel pump. Just all screws, and we got some fuel lines here, one for our charcoal canister and one for our one for our evap, I think. So now I just need to release this guy here. So I think I need a hook style flat screwdriver. Okay, it's not a flat screwdriver, but it's just a right angle pick, because we need to push these 2 tabs together. Come on, man. Okay, that's out. So this is what I'm talking about. If you guys can see these 2 tabs, you have to push that together. And we're gonna do this other side here. So push it in first. Good. And work in a well ventilated area, because right now I can smell the fuel now. And that causes a bad headache, man. So sometimes I don't like doing that, because the smell of the fuel, it will stay. So usually when everything is like that, especially I'm doing a fuel pump repair, I always tell the customer, at least open the window for a while. It will be sucked if it's winter because you cannot open the window, but we can't really do anything about that because it's just gonna get out, or what? It's just gonna be a while to get rid of that smell. Anyway, I know it's gonna be too much manual everything. It's better safe than be sorry later, because it will. I never experienced yet or see someone doing fuel repair and using their gun or anything and it caught on fire, but you know, you will never know because accidents happen only just one time. It doesn't happen all the time. So the bolts that's holding the lock ring, it's either you use a screwdriver or a number 8mm socket for it. That's out. That's good. Okay, that's stuck. That's okay because we ordered a new lock ring for this. I think I have to remove this lock ring first. Yes, it won't come out. Okay. That's your gasket there. And now, challenge part is removing this guy here. So you just have to maneuver, turn everything. There you go. I think for me, that's okay. For me, this is the easiest fuel pump that I did. Okay. There's let's remove this grommet here, the drain hole here. Yes. Okay na. Okay, let me grab a container. Okay, let's just do this quick so that will not get messy. Okay, that's out. Since you remove your fuel tank, also check inside of it, because if there's debris in there, that will make your fuel pump leaves or die soon, right? So far the tank and the fuel is clean. We're gonna go in the bench and let's compare the new one and the old one, and maybe we can do some resistance check if we can find that. If not, we'll just install everything and do our verify testing, our verify repair by the fuel pressure gauge and the current ramp. Okay, so here's our new fuel pump. There's the part number there, right? I know we're doing a lot of testing, but at least we learned something. So there's two big pins here. That's for our motor side. So let's test first this new one here. Go to resistance check. That shows 91 ohms, 90 ohms, right? Maybe that's for our fuel sending. Let's just double check if this one will change. So 90. Okay, 90 ohms there. Okay, so that's for our fuel sending, those two. So we're gonna go to the other two there. So it shows their point 0.5 ohms for our motor side, and for our old one, let's see if there's a difference. So we still have 0.5, not much, 0.6, 0.1 difference. Yeah, you can take that, yeah. So resistance check didn't do much of the difference. We got 0.1 difference. So let's just put this in, because we know our pump's still working. It's not really completely, what do you call that? Completely off, right? It's just the pressure there. So anyway, we're gonna install this. We're gonna retest our fuel pressure and the current drop. Okay, so it's kind of dark here. Anyway, we're gonna install this guy. Just make sure there's no debris going into the pump. Our gasket for our fuel pump is there. And it should just go in one way. Okay. That's good there. Now it smells bad, man. Like that. Okay. So he didn't came with a new gasket, unless this is the gasket. But I removed something in there. No? Did they remove something? Looks like this guy is for this one. Is it the same? Yeah, that's the same. I think there's no gasket in there. Like that. This guy should be on top here. And you can see a notch here on this ring, which is this guy here, our new one. That's going in there. But this gasket here came in on the fuel pump. That's what I think. It's supposed to be in there. No, I don't think that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be inside. So let's put this inside here. Match your hole. Okay, it should be like that. Now we're just gonna put our screws. Just hold on your pump. And it's better too when you do this job. I forgot to ask for new screws, right? Sometimes these screws are rusted, so it's better to have a new one. So the smell of the fuel is really bad. I believe the torque spec on this one is just maybe less than 10 foot-pound, right? Because this is an 8 mm bolt, so that should be enough. 1 turn of the wrist. That's our torque spec. So let's just do that. We're not be so accurate. We do that, but 1 turn of the wrist tight. I think that's more than enough. And later, if we have more time, we're gonna do some evap tests too, because since we remove this pump and the gasket, so make sure we don't have evap leak after we do the repair. Okay. Just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 8. So 8 bolts, screws are tight. Now we're just gonna put our hoses, connector. Now we're gonna replace this gasket, right? So we have a new one for that. I called all the gaskets in this, and then just so that should be it. Just remove this guy here. Oh man, I need to use this. I have to pull this rubber here. Okay, I just put this back. Wrong way. Come on. Our covers there for the click. That's good. Your connector there. Okay, just line up your holes. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our engine bay area. Let's hook up our fuel pressure gauge and then let's retest on how much pressure is this new pump now. So I'm just gonna do ignition on. Our fuel pressure is hooked up and our scope. So why is that not on? Maybe I need to crank it. Right now, we're seeing our fuel pressure 60 to 70 psi, which is a good thing because last time it was at 40 and it dropped to 20. So now, so I'm gonna just redo and start it again. Okay, that's good. Our fuel pressure still stay the same. I know there's a fluctuation between that around 70. So now let's go to our scope capture and let's compare our reading. Okay, so on your right, that's our old fuel pump. As you can see there, that's too much noisier, or if you can say that it's not even compared to our new one here. As you can see there, let's just minus this so you guys can see it. But okay, as you can see that, so let's calculate the RPM on this one if you can see it. So let's just go here. So I'm gonna just put our up the time. So I'm just looking for the same pump 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10. Okay, so let's go down here 1, and there we have the same here at the bottom 2. I'm just gonna calculate that. So as per here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a 10 imitator. In here, on our old pump, we can see that there's distinctive pattern here. I'm gonna calculate that. So let's do so in here we got 1, No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8. And running around 8,000 RPM. That's what it says there. But in here, I can't see anything. It's very distinctive. Maybe a different pattern. Let's look this guy up. I'm just looking for the same pattern. Well, I don't see anything. Why? Huh. That's weird. Unlike on our old one, it's very noticeable. How about this one? This guy here at the bottom, because I use two current probe. Or maybe this guy here. So maybe I filtered it in with this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So at 8, it's running 5,000 RPM there, right? Let's see the, I don't know if you guys can see, that's 5,000 RPM. That's my other current probe, and in this guy here, that's running around 8,000 RPM. And we can see clearly the pattern is way different compared to our new one and the old one. So I believe this vehicle is fixed, and then I'll just test drive this and see if everything is good. But as of now, this guy is pulling at least how many current in this one. So what's the calculation? This one every 500. So this is 5 amps. This guy is running around 8 amps, right, of running current for this fuel pump. I know it says in millivolts, but in every 100 millivolts there's 1 amp on the conversion of the current ramp, and this guy in every 100 millivolts there's 1 amp of conversion. So that's why I said that this is running around 5 amps. This guy is running around 8 amps. So yeah. Okay, so we're just test driving. I'm just test driving this vehicle. Quick test drive. Make sure that everything is good. So far, our fuel trims is around 10% short and long term between banks, bank 1 and bank 2. So that's good. So I'm just gonna do a good load here, heavy acceleration. Make sure that my fuel trims are good there. Yeah, that's good. So that's at least less than 10%. So meaning we got good fuel supply, right? I know it was fixed already because we saw that our fuel pressure from 40 from the old pump to 70, 60. So that was a good indication that we fixed the problem. Second, our current ramp on our fuel pump was better looking, and it's pulling more amps compared to the old one from 5 amps. The new one is pulling at around 8 amps, which is a good one. So last time when we did a test drive, we were too focused on that code for the main relay shut off or something like that, or control circuit. We thought there's a circuit problem because that can cause for a stalling issue, or a car won't start, right? But we did focus on that circuit, and we saw that all those circuits involved on that main relay is working normally, and that's why we went to a different direction. And for me, there was, I think, if I still remember, the easiest one, it was just to check fuel pressure, right? Because I think it happened that it was just cranking and no start, and I think it's fuel related issue. So we did check our fuel pressure and found that it was below specification at around 40 psi. The worst number that we got was 20 psi, and then that's the time it stalled. So can we prevent that kind of diagnosis? I think so. I think if I went grab the important data PIDs, especially the long term, short term, the oxygen sensor, if I went drive it like, you know, acceleration hard, because it will show fuel delivery issue. If you know, if it's really there's a concern there, it will show on our sensors, especially on our oxygen sensors. But we were too focused on our active code for that main relay, or I think it was a main relay or a ECM relay, something like that. We were too focused on that because we know that if there was a problem in that relay, it will shut off everything. So yeah, I did show you guys different types of testing on our fuel pump, the fuel pressure, and then we determined that there was a problem in the fuel pressure. We want to check our power and ground to the pump and make sure, and then we use our scope, oscilloscope, to check the current waveform and how that motor works, or how's the pattern. And then, even though there was a problem with our motor, we saw on our resistance check that there was just a little bit of difference. From a brand new one, it was 0.5, and then the old one is just showing 0.6. So sometimes, unless it's a hard fault, that let's say a dead pump, yes, you can see an open circuit on a fuel pump motor. But if it's still running, that's why resistance check is like, you know, it's just a so-so check. But it's a, you know, a good thing to test too, right? So at least you know is what's going on with the circuit. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and you know, I hope you guys learned something there, and I learned something, and that's it. I'll see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.